Welcome back to Munchausen's Proxy, where we were semi-dreading what the new Peacock live-action series, based on the Sony Playstation game franchise Twisted Metal, would be like. I gave a quick reaction after watching the first episode, and I pretty much had to throw all hope of what I wanted a Twisted Metal show to look like out the window. I wanted a dark comedy/action show. But what we seem to have gotten from NBC Universal is a straight-up comedy, with some action scenes thrown in. So let me go through my thoughts on the first 5 episodes of Twisted Metal. And I will keep the spoilers to a minimum because there really is no need to give out spoilers. First complaint: the episodes are only about 30 minutes each. This means the story does not advance very quickly, and it does so in a herky-jerky fashion because there are some time jumps between episodes. Now, I understand it has to be done with some time jumps, or it would take a couple of seasons to have things happen on the way from San Francisco to Chicago and back, if not more, which is sort of why I don't like the half-hour episodes either. I'm guessing streamers are doing this to save money, since shooting 30 minutes takes less cast and crew time than an hour. Second, another complaint. I understand that they have decided to go with a comedy format mixed with a little action. I get that. However, people tuning in to a Twisted Metal show are likely there for one of 2 reasons. First, they saw the trailers and they like Anthony Mackie. Who doesn't? He's a good actor, and it is fine if that is what brought people to the show. Or, second, they played and have fond memories of Twisted Metal. They saw the trailer and thought, cool, live-action Twisted Metal. I'll give it a go. Now, the first type of people will probably be very satisfied with their Mackie fix. He is good. The second type are going to be disappointed because there's a grand total of 3 car battles in 5 episodes, and 2 of them were on the lame side. The one with John Doe that led off the first episode was pretty good, and what I was hoping for in this show. The other 2 were lacking. Third, my last complaint, I swear. While I can't bitch about the show being a post-apocalyptic setting, it is more than a little unrealistic. The cities would have been the first places to go to hell. For one, cities have more people to panic in a disaster. 2, they have more criminals and crooked politicians who would take advantage of the disaster to do what they want. And 3, there is no food in the cities that is not brought in by truckers. You cannot close off cities because there is nothing in cities to sustain life. Most cities do not get their water within city limits. It comes from elsewhere. Most cities do not get their power within city limits. It comes from elsewhere. Most cities do not have food sources within city limits. Again, it comes from elsewhere. It would be very difficult to sustain many cities with just what is within the walls they erect in the scenario dreamt up by the writers of Twisted Metal. And if all cities have the population seen in San Francisco, they would starve long before their access to water and power collapsed due to lack of maintenance on the systems that bring it to the cities. More realistic would be rural communities enlarging in order to protect farmland and domesticated food animals. The cities would then re-emerge around those types of communities, meaning the Amish would be doing very well for themselves. But Proxy, I hear you say, if all you have are complaints, why are you sticking with the show? Good question. The answer is twofold. The first part is I am simply going with the show as they have decided to format it. It's a comedy. Okay, I can go with that. It is an unrealistic urban post-apocalyptic world. Okay, it's slightly silly if you think about it for 3 seconds, but let's turn our brains off to that unlikelihood. What have they done right through 5 episodes? Anthony Mackie is obviously the linchpin. If he sucks, the show sucks, and he is pretty damn good. By the 5th episode, we have gotten some backstory to him and found out his dreams and drives in life. He is a charismatic enough lead to lure you into the show to find out how his story unfolds. Mackie is rarely bad, even when he is in a bad project. On a completely unrelated note, I swear, Anthony, you need to tell your agent to lose Kevin Feige's number. You can do better. What else? The actress playing Quiet, Stephanie Beatriz, surprised me. I did not like her in the first episode. She did not improve much in the second episode. I don't know if the writers of the latter episodes are just better than the first 2 episodes' writers or what, but Quiet was super irritating in her mega bitch role. I like female characters with a bit of attitude. This, however, was too much. Too much attitude gets people killed. For reference on female characters with too much attitude, go see The Rings of Power, but warning, it will melt your brain with the amount of stupid going on. And in the first 2 episodes, Quiet was reminding me a little bit of a more silent version of Galadriel. Or if you want to save your brain the pain, just go watch my Rings of Power reviews and you'll see what I'm talking about. Quiet did improve, however. She got better around the halfway point of the 3rd episode, and by the end of the 5th, she was pretty solid. She began to have good chemistry with Mackie and balanced the way too over-the-top humor they sometimes write into his character. Hollywood, for some reason, seems to think non-stop humor in shows and movies works these days. Mostly, it doesn't. I think that started with Marvel after Guardians of the Galaxy hit so big, and they started shoving humor in everywhere. It has not gotten too bad in Twisted Metal yet. Thomas Hayden Church is another character that works really well. I think we could have done without the flashbacks of his origin, though. Hollywood needs to relearn the value of mystery in characters. Not everything needs its own origin story. I think Agent Stone's character would have been better served without those flashbacks. Just keep him the hard ass that he is without diminishing it by those scenes. Of the other characters, Neve Campbell as Raven, one of the rulers of San Francisco, was decent. I did not buy her pitch to John Doe in the least, but she does a good job in the first episode. Richard Cabral as Loud, Quiet's brother, was not very noticeable in the first episode, except where he and Quiet part ways, but his appearance in the 5th episode was very good. His chemistry with Quiet was entertaining. Most of the rest of the minor character cast was either serviceable or not so off as to be noticeable. The show stealer, however, has been Sweet Tooth, and he kind of had to be. He's an over-the-top character. This show needed a Sweet Tooth that was going to chew the scenery in the best way possible. The fact that 2 people play him, AEW wrestler Samoa Joe as the body and actor Will Arnett as the voice, makes this more difficult than if they just had one guy playing him. It means they need to make sure the voice and the body acting are synced. Samoa Joe uses his body to emphasize the verbiage extremely well. It is almost like watching a less animated mime being voiced over by Will Arnett, who is also doing a great job with the script for Sweet Tooth. That they managed to get Samoa Joe and Will Arnett so synced to make this work is what makes the whole performance the best thing about this show, thus far. Sweet Tooth is just as bananas and violent and sociopathic as you could hope for in the character. Several other characters from the games have been shown as characters in the show, but they were not shown in vehicles. The 2 sibling cops working for Agent Stone, Stu and Mike, Miranda Watts, and Granny Dead were all characters from the games, but their vehicles were not shown except for Miranda Watts' Formula One race car, but she wasn't driving it yet. Thus far, Twisted Metal is entertaining and worth sticking with, even if it is not the show I would have created if given my druthers. I will get through the rest of the first season and come back with a season wrap-up review. If you like what I do here, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, share the video, and leave a comment or a constructive criticism below. And make sure to hit the bell icon to get notified of new videos. I appreciate it all. The second half of the Twisted Metal review should only take a couple of days. Until then, tschüss.